Knockhill. You're watching F1 Sidecars.
You wouldn't think that Midsummer's Day is only 10 days away. This is Knockhill. The wind's horizontal. It's freezing cold. It's been raining. We're here at this iconic Scottish circuit for round 4 of the Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Championship. There's always close racing here. It's a small track and we're looking forward to it. Round 3 took place down in Donington Park with the World Superbikes, and it's fair to say the sidecar races were pretty much the highlight of the weekend. Although the solos put on a good performance, the sidecar racing was brilliant. So much so that a leading member of the FIM Road Racing Committee, Rudy Mudders, had this to say about the action at Donington Park.
It's a very good exhibition, and because I'm very surprised that the teams are very close together. That is, if I compare it to the German Championship, there we have 2-3 guys are able to win, but then we have a big gap to the rest of the grid. But it's very good race. We had a very good race, and we see there 4 or 5 teams always can winning the race. It's very good.
Well, thank you for having us with World Championship. It's been really good for us, and hopefully we'll do it again.
Of course, I think you must push that you get another World Championship round here in UK, because it's very important to have one, because the island UK is the home of sidecars.
Wonderful, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, that's some accolade, so we were very pleased to hear that from the FIM man. The racing was fantastic, but Scott Lorry, Andy Peach, Jörg Steinhausen had all had problems, which meant they started at the back of the grid for race 1. Sean Hegarty, meanwhile, and Ben Holland, who'd started from pole position, took full advantage of that and really got stuck in. Jörg Steinhausen is not leading the World Championship for nothing. He came through from the back, chasing Hegarty to within 3 seconds at the flag to claim second. That would dictate the grid for race 2. So the front row for race 2 was Hegarty, Steinhausen. Ben Holland was in there as well. He'd got a podium, and they really got stuck in. It became a battle between Hegarty and Steinhausen, but the highlight of the race, Scott Lorry, coming from the back, just went into Goddard's too quickly, lost the back end, and in dramatic fashion looped the thing, unbelievably missing everybody. Mark Edwards took avoiding action, Andy Peach took avoiding action. It was a spectacular crash. Miraculously, both rider and passenger got up and they were fine. Steinhausen, meanwhile, romped away to a victory, chased by Hegarty all the way. Tim Reeves, though, still leads the table, but Hegarty's performance put him in second. Ben Holland, meanwhile, he's enhanced his championship position. Everybody closing up, but when we get here to Knockhill, Reeves is here after a great TT. Well, like I say, Sean Hegarty to within 15 points of Tim and Tristan Reeves. Andy Peach 74, but just 1 point clear of Mark Edwards, who's having a terrific 2013 season. Ben Holland there down in 5th. Look at that battle then for 3rd place in the standings. Ian Drown continuing his momentum, as indeed is Gary Horsepole. John Clark 13th. Well, Sean Hegarty really did capitalise with the absence of Tim Reeves. Tim and Tristan, however, are here this weekend. They're in pole position here, so we're going to be talking to them. But Hegarty in 2nd, Peach in 3rd, and Mark Edwards on the Kawasaki. He and Lee Barrett, a brilliant 4th place in the standing so far, chased by the young guns, as you saw on the table, Holland and Lee Watson. But Knockhill, strangely enough, everybody likes this place. It's about 1.2 miles, it's undulating. Let's have a look then at Knockhill from the rider's point of view. It is short and sharp. The most impressive feature, this climb over the line. So it's uphill. Once they're over the line, though, it's a fast down run to what used to be called Dupper Stip, but is now called the Seat Curve, would you believe? Then Leslie's the second part of that into Scotsman. And then right down to the sharp right-hander dipping through the bottom. Used to be McIntyre's this bit. The chicane, it's a right-left flick where you can come out over the curb using all of the curb up towards the grandstand at Clark's. Right round here, this is very fast. Then onto the fastest part of the circuit, they'll be hitting 125 miles through the speed trap here, per hour that is. And then into the hairpin. Second gear, Tim Reeves is in bottom actually up here, then driving up the gearbox, third, fourth over the top, hitting fifth. They won't be pulling sixth gear round Knockhill, and that's a lap. Conditions were hardly ideal for qualifying. Tim and Tristan Reeves were, as you might expect, in a class of their own. They were smooth and very fast. Sean Hegarty and Callum Lawson, for most of the session, were 0.6, 0.7 of a second off the pace and looked like getting quicker, but then in the final stages, Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson nailed it to grab joint front row position with Tim and Tristan, pushing Sean and Callum back to third, but qualification was great. It bodes well for the race. Championship leaders still, despite the fact that they were away on TT duty for the Donington round. Tim and Tristan Reeves, a maximum from 4 races. Pole position here again at Knockhill. It's all going well for you this year, Tim.
Yeah, it seems to be. It doesn't, you know, everything we seem to do seems to be good. Yeah, I don't know what we've done to deserve it, but I'm quite happy. Yeah, it's good. I'm over the moon with the year so far.
Tris, your year back in, and you're having good season as well. When were you last at Knockhill?
2004, when it was the Eastern Airways Championship then as well. So yeah, it was good. I like it. It was quite a good little circuit. So yeah, it's nice to be back. Yeah,
most of the riders like it. It is tight and twisty. Not many overtaking places. Where do you think, if anybody's going to threaten you, where's it going to come from?
Sean Hegarty would be the ones. Like, yeah, it's hard. Like you say, it's hard to pass, but the one place you can it passes into the hairpin, and I think if Sean's with us, it'd definitely be having a go into there. I think
Tim, you and I have had conversations, and there was one box you hadn't ticked, but you ticked it last week. You won an Isle of Man TT. The trophy's behind us. Where's that going to go in your house?
Yeah, right at the front. Well, it was a big thing, and it's something that I worked for 6 years to try and do, and it's finally all the luck we needed fell into place, and it all felt good, and we finally got the win. Absolutely over the moon with it. I couldn't believe it, and still haven't come down really. I'm still on cloud 9.
Over the moon, cloud 9, whatever cliches he uses, he's in pole position. Peach alongside him. Ben Holland, Sean Hegarty, Callum Lawson right behind. Row 3, young Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood. Row 4, Horsepole and Barry James, Mark Howard continuing their strong vein of form. Mark Edwards there on row 5. And then David Rinn, look at that. Row 7, that's a local man having a one-off alongside Rupert Archer. Well, race 1 scheduled for Saturday afternoon, but the old adage came true. The sheep ran down the hill, the clouds came down, the weather deteriorated to such an extent. There was standing water on the circuit, low cloud, dreadful visibility, and basically the riders had a bit of a conflab with the organisers. There's Stuart Higgs in the picture there, looking at the water. Just terrible. The teams came in, the race was off. Sharing the front row, of course, with Tim Reeves, Andy Peach, another one of those riders that I said was on a mission and indeed likes the wet, but that was a bit extreme, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, Tim and myself both like the wet, but it was aquaplaning so badly on those 2 warm-up laps up the start and finish straight. We fancied it. It might have been okay for us 2 if we got away, but packed behind.
Do you think the decision is unanimous? If you polled everybody in the grid, they'd all feel the same way?
Well, Tim came up with a good idea. He said, ask the first 8, see what they say. Tim and I had already said no, and I think the unanimous decision was quit. So
fair enough. So hopefully, we'll get a revised programme tomorrow, maybe still get 2 races away.
Yeah, and the forecast is much better for tomorrow, so 2 dry races be far better than one of these.
Yeah, well done. Good to see everybody back safely.
No, thank you very much. Cheers.
Difference a day makes. Look at that glorious sunshine now, and we have 2 races on the programme. This first one, 10 laps. Crews coming to the line now. The decision to abort yesterday's wet race completely vindicated by the fact that we've got ideal conditions today. And of course, Tim Reeves in pole position, Sean Hegarty will be lining up in 3rd. Andy Peach has already assumed his place on the front row. Andy Peach was one of those drivers who agreed with the decision yesterday to call the race off because of the wet conditions. Ben Holland and Lee Watson were less convinced, but nonetheless, I think everybody gains. The person who gains most, of course, is Roger Lovelock, who, with a stand-in passenger, will start the race, albeit from the back of the grid, but he gets to race twice and, of course, improve his championship position. Sean Hegarty, Callum Lawson coming through the number 34 grid. John Clark, number 90, behind him, with Tony Belsey in the chair. And Tony Belsey actually bruised his ribs in a warm-up crash yesterday, so he's a bit second-hand. He actually stuffed a cushion inside his leathers to ease the pain, so let's hope he's okay. Less pressure here on the grid today. You can feel a much more calm, relaxed atmosphere. Nobody likes racing when the conditions are bad. This is, to use the cliche, a level playing field for everyone. Waiting, as usual, for reigning world champion Tim and Tristan Reeves. Newly TT crowned. A TT winner, Tim Reeves. That was the one box he hadn't ticked, but now he has. Waiting for Tim Reeves in pole position. He's coming around the hairpin, I think, always last to join. He'll thread his way through. That's the 3-minute hooter. It's a full grid, some local talent as well. I'm going to make room for the championship leader, the reigning world champion, and the pole position man, Tim Reeves. The one thing that I forgot to mention about Tim Reeves is he's also the lap record holder around here, going back to 2007. I also mentioned Roger Lovelock starting from the back of the grid. As of yesterday, he didn't have a passenger. He and Rick Lawrence have parted company for whatever reason, and Lovelock will start at the back of the grid with a standing passenger. I'll tell you more about that as the lights go and they stream off down over the hill towards the right-hander of Seat Curve, and already Tim Reeves assuming control. Through, though, from behind Andy Peach goes Ben Holland and Lee Watson in the Finning Cat yellow and black Suzuki. Hegarty and Lawson are in second. Reeves leads then in the sunshine on the first of 10 laps here at Knockhill. John Clark and Tony Belsey too, they got a flyer. They're up to 5th, the number 90 outfit behind Peach. Then we're looking for Ricky Stevens. There he is in 6th. Then it's Barry James, 1-1-2. Through they go onto this very, very fast part of the course, 125 down to bottom gear in the case of Tim Reeves here at the hairpin. Reeves leads, Sean Hegarty in second, second in the championship, second in the race, just 15 points adrift of the reigning world champion. And Tim Reeves has admitted on more than one occasion that Hegarty, if he gets close, will make a bid. He does fear Sean Hegarty, he respects him too. They're good, close buddies off the track, but I won't say deadly rivals, well, why not? They're deadly rivals on track, riding with Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson, another of those passengers from the TT. Off the line, you can see Holland coming up in a minute. There he is, Ben Holland, sweeping through, almost went wide, but Ben Holland looking good, strong in the championship and strong in this race. Now, let me tell you very quickly, oh dear, off the track goes Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charlwood. They are here courtesy of Simon Gilbert, having loaned them a Yamaha engine at the end of the previous round. At Donington, they were just about retiring because they've got no bits. Barry James, 1-1-2, having a look on the inside of John Clark. Behind, I can see Craig Chaplow. Clark then with Tony Belsey, bruised ribs et al. There as well. Whether he's got the cushion stuffed inside his leathers or not, I've no idea. Let me tell you very quickly a sensational news story about this race. Roger Lovelock, as I said at the start, had no passenger yesterday. A quick phone call, and guess what? The garage mechanic here at Knockhill, a local man, Ralph Pride, a passenger with a current license, has jumped in. So he works here at the Knockhill circuit. He's the resident mechanic, and he's passengering the reigning British champion, Roger Lovelock, and I can tell you what, they are doing very, very well. Moving up from the back in this race, a good, strong ride by Lovelock and Ralph Pride, local talent, who's got, obviously, a huge amount of local support. They did 5 laps this morning. That it gave them enough of a qualification to join the grid. Meanwhile, back at the front, Hegarty, you can see, is just closing up now on the back of Tim Reeves. He's a little bit closer. That gap about 1.3 seconds. Holland and Watson still there behind them. There they are, along past Hislops, that left-hander called Hislops. Incidentally, this is 10 years since the death of the fantastic Scots rider Steve Hislop, and very much in the thoughts of people here at the Knockhill circuit. On board then with Roger Lovelock and Ralph Pride coming from the back of the grid. That BMW ahead of them. Yeah, ahead of them it's Gary Horsepole and Craig Chaplow. We're moving across. That's Gary Horsepole on the left and Paul Napton. Craig Chaplow, Case Endervelt ahead. Are we going to get through here? The top three, Reeves, Hegarty, Holland. Then it's Andy Peach, Charlie Richardson. Then Barry James has got past John Clark and Tony Belsey. Then it's Chaplow. Now you can see Lovelock, #1 on the BMW. Just look at Ralph Pride working. He's a big lad. He's about the same size as Rick Lawrence. So all of the handholds on the outfit fell perfectly into place. What a terrific job. Big respect, Ralph. On the inside, I tell you what, when you're riding with someone like Lovelock at that speed, you need to know what you're doing. You need to be confident and you need to be strong. And Ralph Pride is every bit of all those things I've just said. The BMW then, alongside Chaplow, over the line. They're on the inside at Seat Curve, and they've got it. One more scalp nailed to the bedpost. Pardon the mixed metaphors of Roger Lovelock. But he is so lucky to be racing. He gets 2 bites of the cherry. 2 races on today's programme. Hegarty then right on the back of Reeves. Is he going to have a look? Oh, he's as close now as he's been since the grid. And he's looking hard. Does the Suzuki have the drive against Tim Reeves' Suzuki LCR? Not at the moment. Little wipe of the visor from Tim Reeves. Sean Hegarty, 51.892, a fastest lap there. That compares with Tim Reeves, 51.389. So 0.5 of a second off the lap record, Sean Hegarty. But he's the quickest man on the tarmac, and it shows. Round the Scotsman, up towards the John Weir chicane. There's some peculiar names on this circuit. I think a lot of them named after sponsors. Well, why not? You know, it's a tough business running a race circuit. Derek Butcher doing an admirable job, the circuit owner. Hegarty now, he's really got the bit between his teeth. Now he's at the hairpin. The back wheel slid in a bit, lost just a touch of traction there, Sean Hegarty. Drifted a little bit wide, but he's still very much in the hunt. Lee Watson, you can see his agile movements across the little boot, and they're flicking down for the left, then right. That's how quickly they have to move. Daytona footwear, evident there. Yellow and black, very, very distinctive livery on the Finning Cat Suzuki of the 3rd place crew. Q8 Oil Suzuki, Sean Hegarty, Callum Lawson. SMT Racing for Tim Reeves. Robin Croft, the team owner, absolutely thrilled to bits with the TT victory. And why wouldn't he be? Tim Reeves too. Birchall's, Ben and Tom Birchall actually took a victory TT week as well. So it was a double, if you like, British Championship runner victory at the Isle of Man TT. So they both did us proud. Birchall's not here because this round coincides with a World Championship round, and they are committed to doing them all. Andy Peach, Charlie Richardson in the hunt, still in 4th place. Ahead of them, disappearing out of sight, Ben Holland and Lee Watson. So Andy Peach has got clear tarmac and every opportunity to make hay in the sun here at Knockhill. A fantastic crowd. You wouldn't have thought it yesterday, in the weather yesterday. And yet, nonetheless, it was still packed in the freezing cold drizzle, torrential downpour. And this battle now going on. John Clark has got back past Barry James and Mark Howard. John Clark and Tony Belsey, who knows his way around here because he's ridden so many laps around Knockhill with Phil Bell, who has been in our championship in previous years, sadly forced to retire due to financial problems, lack of sponsorship for 2013. Let's hope we see Phil Bell back again. He's a Knockhill specialist. Race leaders, Reeves and Reeves on the last lap then. Little under a mile to do, in fact just about half a mile now. Through the chicane they go. Tristan Reeves doing just as much as he needs to do and absolutely no more. Up to the hairpin, the right-hander for the last time, all the way down the gearbox. You can hear him spinning up, probably second that time, feathered the clutch a bit, spinning up, over the line they go. He's dropped Hegarty away. It was a brave and valiant challenge by Sean Hegarty and Callum Lawson, but Tim Reeves got the victory, 25 more points. His championship lead marches on, 20 points for Hegarty, so he's given away 5 in this race. The gap will now be 20. John Clark gets the better of Barry James, and Roger Lovelock, a creditable position from the back of the grid. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Barry James and Mark Howard. Mark Howard, a serving soldier. And their position will be confirmed. Caption coming up. The music tells it all. Reeves, Hegarty, Holland. There's your podium. Peach, Clark, James 6th. Look at that. 7th for Roger Lovelock and Ralph Pride. Chaplow 8th. He'll be happy. Mark Edwards, not as good as he normally does. Gary Horspoll gets 6 points for 10th. Rupert Archer in the points. Roger Body and local man Craig Nicol. Barely got time to get their helmets off. I'm going to talk to Tris first. Let him get his helmet off. Fantastic, great race, absolutely great race. From pole position, Tim and Tristan. Well, Tris, that's all right, mate, no worries. Conditions much better today, and that just about made the decision worthwhile, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a lot better, a lot safer. It was. We managed to get a good start, and as soon as it got down first corner left, I looked back and Sean was near enough there, and luckily just towards the end, sort of after this, we started to break him a little bit, and it was just enough. Yeah, good ride.
He was in the hunt, wasn't he?
He definitely was, mate. Yeah, definitely. He's thereabouts.
Well done, Tim. Good from pole position, another victory. So that's another bag full of points. Great race. Good in the sunshine too.
Yeah, it'd help if I hadn't messed the clutch up on the start. No, flipping clutch was slipping, so I'm gonna have to change engine or put a new clutch in.
So you're not infallible?
Nah, it made it hard work for that, did. Flipping hell.
Well done, mate. Go and do it again. Cheers. Right, let's have a quick word. Third place, great third place, Ben Holland and Lee Watson. Fantastic. 16 points to add to your tally, Ben. That was good for you, eh?
It was a good ride out. It's a shame we lost the front two a little bit. Yeah, the rear end's a little bit loose at the start of the race, but yeah, they managed to gap us. But fortunately, we managed to get 4th place as well, and here we are.
Lee, 10 quick laps around here. What's it like? Tough?
Hot. It was busy. First lap or two, very busy, which we expected with a short race. And then after that, it was fairly steady. I think the lap times were reasonably consistent, so happy with that.
Well, consistent is what you guys need. Steady points through the rest of the season, and you're going to be right up there.
Exactly. It's a lot of races left to go, a lot of points to score. Yeah, everything can happen.
Brilliant. Well done. Let's. Sorry, nearly bumped into our other camera there. We're going to move through because I had this man sitting in my caravan last night having a cup of tea, and he was very relaxed there. You did fastest lap of the race, 51.892. You were really on it.
Hey, it was good. I just got tripped up behind Tim a bit and misjudged the chicane on the second to last lap and clipped the curb slightly. But hey, going back to you, you never offered me a cup of tea, you tight git.
Well, it was. I did actually.
No, you didn't. Cat was broke.
Okay, where's Callum? He's run away somewhere. Yeah, Callum, come over quickly. Well done. That looked pretty easy. Was it easy?
Yeah, it was easy enough. That 8 more laps next race, though, so could be a bit more interesting, but I'm sure we'll do it.
Better in these conditions, though.
Yeah, hopefully, won't it, Kevin? We should be on his case a bit more in next race.
Everybody's buzzing here. A terrific first race. You heard it from one of the guys. Race 2 is an 18-lapper. Could be a different story. Is it going to give Hegarty enough time to hunt down Tim Reeves, or is Tim Reeves going to do the double? I'm going to dodge the champagne. Join me on the grid for race 2. Come back to the grid for race 2. This is an 18-lapper. The grid will form up as per the result of race 1. So that means the front is pretty much unchanged. 1 or 2 changes, of course. Andy Peach got knocked back into 4th place by Ben Holland, who claimed the final spot on the podium. Reeves and Hegarty were ahead of him. But one of the most significant changes is that Roger Lovelock, the reigning champion, who started from the back of the grid, earned himself a very respectable grid slot, would you believe, with a stand-in passenger, Ralph Pride, who is a Knockhill employee. Until last night, he was working in the workshop here. Today, he's riding with the British champion. So, John Clark, Tony Belsey there, they flew. They really, really went well. Barry James, Mark Howard, number 112 on the John Cable racing bike, moving into third place on the grid, Ben Holland. There is Roger Lovelock and Ralph Pride. Through comes Sean Hegarty and Callum Lawson. We'll get out of their way, otherwise they'll knock us over. And the pole position man, of course, first race winner, leading the world, leading the British Championship at the moment, and he's been flawless all weekend. Tim and Tristan Reeves, another full grid, 18 laps. It's going to be something like a 20-minute race. Can't wait. Well, if the bookies were giving odds on Tim Reeves, they'd be pretty slim, I can tell you that, because he has been in terrific form for the whole of this season, and Knockhill no exception. The sun has gone, but it's not cold here, and it's dry. More to the point, it's dry. Hegarty seems to have his nose in front. Is he going to get there? If he can just get to the right-hander ahead of Tim Reeves, and again from pole position, Tim Reeves sweeps round the inside. Andy Peach, though, this time has made good third. Then it's Ben Holland, then it's Clark. Roger Lovelock right behind Clark. So Roger Lovelock got the jump on Barry James, was behind him on the grid, but he's made good. That BMW is so quick. Lovelock came here at the weekend with a young man, Ben Hughes, who, in fairness to Ben Hughes, is a good passenger in his own right, but he's diminutive, and the handholds didn't fit, and he wasn't comfortable on the outfit, so he decided he wasn't going to do it. And that, I think, discretion the better part of valour. Ben Holland then, Lee Watson, podium in race one. You heard it in the interview, you heard it from them. They need steady, consistent points. Reeves, Hegarty, Peach, Holland. Oh, look at Lovelock, popped out from the hill on the right-hand side. That is so quick, that BMW. It gets the drive down as well. And Ralph Pride, just watch the skill of that passenger in the #1 Driver Wolf BMW. And if Rick Lawrence is sitting at home watching this, Rick, come on, mate, reconsider. Think of what you're missing. You've been together for so long. You're the reigning champions. Well, if you don't take that seat, somebody else will, that's for sure. Unfazed, Roger Lovelock then with a stand-in passenger going well. Peach under a bit of pressure now from Ben Holland and Lee Watson. John Clark, there's Lovelock. Barry James and Mark Howard on the John Cable Racing 112 bike. Then is Chaplow and Case Enderbelt on board with Roger Lovelock. Driver Wolf Racing BMW, and he's alongside John Clark, and the BMW has the superior speed and dropping down towards the Duffer Stip Seat curve, call it what you like, and now the left-hander through there, now down to the right-hander. Used to be McIntyre's, now the Scotsman. Then the John Weir chicane, where they go left, right, left, using the curve, then along to Clark. And he's got his nose in front now. He's there. Barry James nibbling away at the back of the John Clark and Tony Belsey number 90 outfit from Banbridge, County Down. John Clark, another one of those committed sidecar drivers who makes the trip each race from Northern Ireland across to here. Just think of the cost involved. Very, very dependent on funding all of these crews. Costs something like £10,000 a season on tyres alone. Avon tyres, of course, the control tyre for this championship. About £1,000 a meeting of the tyre bill for the average competitor. And if you haven't got that sort of money, then you have to run basically on part warms. 52.076. His record, 51.389. And that is not as fast as Hegarty went in the first race. Barry James, Mark Howard riding a good, consistent season. They've got past John Clark, in pursuit now of the Driver Wolf Racing BMW of Roger Lovelock, who's not able to break the toe. Look at Ralph Pride. He looks every bit a consummate sidecar passenger. He looks as though he's been in there for the past 5 seasons. And I suppose it's fair to say that being a Knockhill employee, nobody would know their way round Knockhill like Ralph Pride. He's moving correctly too. He knows just what to do, doing enough. Barry James coming back then at Roger Lovelock. Was it a little wave of the hand there from Mark Howard? Or just a change of position? Let's have a look. What a scrap this is. Oh, Rupert Archer, Jason Grimes. They've spun it. So their trip from Shrewsbury in Shropshire to no avail, although they did score points in the first race. Third place Peach, fourth place Holland. Andy Peach, Charlie Richardson having a much better season in 2013. 2012 was a tale of woe for Andy Peach. That's so many of the races. That's Craig Nicol and Jimmy Connell. They're here on a wild card, so they're local Scottish talent. Picked up points as well in the first race, but their race now, race 2 over. The other Scots driver, David Rinn, who's running the only tubular chassis outfit in the race, running consistently as well in the points. So Davy Rinn having a good weekend, albeit in the lower order. On board with Sean Hegarty, Callum Lawson. Fastest lap of the weekend in race 1. Are they going to be able to equal it in race 2? That's what they need to do, because Tim Reeves is disappearing at a rate of knots over the horizon. The battle for third closing up. Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson. And there you can see Roger Lovelock's board. It's got 49 on it. He's won, of course, because he's the reigning champion. But 49, his number from previous years. He knows his pit board, and that'll do for him. Ben Holland, Lee Watson, third in race 1. Fourth where they sit at the moment. Good on-board shots from the Finning Cat Suzuki. Great engine noise as well. You can hear the gears, you can hear it revving. And just quickly, when I said that I thought Tim Reeves was spinning up or slipping the clutch out of the hairpin, he was slipping the clutch, but unintentionally, because you heard him in the interview, he had clutch slip. So he's either changed the clutch or changed the engine between races. To good avail, because he's out leading this one. You're looking at the third place man, Andy Peach. And now the battle for 5th. Roger Lovelock in 5th. Is John Clark going to do anything about it? Well, Barry James having a look as well. He's not getting away, Roger Lovelock. Ralph Pride, I remind you, the passenger for the day. This is a bit more than a taxi ride, Ralph, that is for sure. But you get the huge, huge respect of everyone here, and not least of all me, I can tell you, because I've done both. It is not easy to get in the sidecar with somebody who's quick. Hegarty's crew on the pit wall, urging him to even greater lengths. And Ben Holland, meanwhile, lapping Rod Robinson and Nick Webb, the number 10 outfit, at the back of your picture now. They lap here, of course, so quickly because they're going round in about 53 seconds. And in an 18-lap race, it's inevitable that you're going to catch the tail enders round Knockhill. Is it a podium for Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson? It's looking good at the moment on the L&W. W. Dave Walton, father-in-law to Gregory Clues, the French passenger, in actual fact. And here's a hot off-the-press news item for you. Greg Clues and Jörg Steinhausen have parted company. So something of a divorce in the Steinhausen camp as well. Steinhausen riding in the World Championship this weekend with Ashley Hawes. Quite what's gone on in that camp, I've no idea, but it's musical chairs right through the piece here. Lovelock leading John Clark. Barry James, Mark Howard, lapped Rod Robinson and Nick Webb. And this scrap is going to go all the way to the wire, and I guess it's time for us to take a short break. Join us again for the rest of the action. Welcome back to Knockhill. Don't panic, you haven't missed anything. It's status quo. Lovelock narrowly ahead of Clark, then it's Barry James. And to be honest, it can be any one of these three, these six, if we're talking men, of course. And it very much is a nine-wheeler. Lovelock is not able to shake off John Clark, who is just so quick. His bike's always quick, his style is determined, and if anything, he's dropped away from Barry James. He's closing on Roger Lovelock and Ralph Pride, but the BMW just has the punch up the hill, and it's a long, long, big ask, you know, up that hill. Two men, it's a 1000cc stock engine, and there you have it, Reeves from Hegarty. Peach, here's your race leader, Tim and Tristan Reeves. Holland still in fourth. Then that battle unfolding for fifth place between Lovelock, John Clark and Barry James. And there it is, where John Clark, oh, and the wheel arch is flapping. There's been a bit of contact there. John Clark has clouted something or someone. He's very quick in the tight bits. Where he loses out is on the drag up to the start finish. But here, into the hairpin, he's closing up on the back all the time. Now watch the BMW go. Once Roger Lovelock gets the power down, it drives and it goes away. It's got lots of bottom end torque, that S1000 RR BMW. Sophisticated electronics and all the package straight off the road bike. Stock form, that's what we use here in the Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Championship. Clive Paget on pit wall there, getting a bit of the action as well. Oh, off the track goes Andy Peach. Andy Peach onto the gravel, through goes Ben Holland. Oh, he's oh, goodness me. If that doesn't damage the wishbone, goodness knows. It's very, very frail, this hub centre steering set up on the LCR. Peach then almost into the clutches of Roger Lovelock. And he'll have sand and gravel all over his tyres. Roger Lovelock's got an opportunity now. This is it. BMW plays Suzuki up the hill. And I have to say, the Suzuki of Andy Peach has got every bit as much grunt as the BMW. But the BMW is alongside. He's going to push, push, push. Ralph Bright, stand-in passenger. He's got a job to do, and he's done it. What a terrific overtaking move for Roger Lovelock. Up then to fourth place, behind Ben Holland. Andy Peach down to fifth. Look at that, is he going to fight back? He's certainly going to give it his utmost, because Andy Peach is determined, and he's on the inside, a bit of a kiss. He's back, and look at John Clark and Tony Belsey. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Well, Andy Peach didn't stay behind Lovelock for long, did he? Well, aggressive, contentious, none of those things. It was racing. It was pure and simple racing, and that's what we love here on the Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Championship. Lovelock and Ralph Pride doing a terrific job. They qualified for a better grid position because they were so well placed in race one, and they've put it to good effect. I tell you, Ralph Pride's going to relive this moment. He'll be telling his grandchildren in years to come about this ride round Knockhill with the reigning British champion, and I doubt if he's ever been round here so quickly. Peach then assuming control. Clark back on the tail end of Roger Lovelock, and still there lurking Barry James and Mark Howard. Composure regained at the front for Tim and Tristan Reeves. Sean Hegarty still in second. This is this fantastic battle for fourth place. There's no way Andy Peach is going to catch Ben Holland and Lee Watson, though. He gave him too much ground when he went off the track. Fourth place, 4 laps to go, and you've got nothing behind you. What I mean is no distance. They're right there waiting to catch you. Wheel popped up a little bit. Ralph Pride, you can sense that he's just tiring maybe a little bit, and I'm not surprised. My hat goes off to this man. Oh dear, Rod Robinson, Nick Webb, that's a retirement for them. That's a shame. Well done, mate. They enjoy their racing. Really, really such a friendly atmosphere in the paddock. And Rod Robinson shaking his head. Mechanical problem clearly with the Suzuki LCR. Their race is over. Meanwhile, race leaders, no such dramas befalling them. Tim and Tristan Reeves marching on to another 25 points here. Sean Hegarty must be so frustrated. What does he have to do to catch this man? Callum Lawson did say in the first interview that with it being an 18-lapper, they might have a bit more of a chance, but if anything, Tim Reeves has pulled away. Although we now have tail enders ahead of him, he's lapping, and immediately ahead of him is Roger Body with Jamie Wynn. Good to have Jamie Wynn back in the sidecar of the number 44 Santander Salt bike. Oh, Mark Edwards and Lee Barrett chucking it in sideways. They're having a great scrap with Gary Horsepole and Paul Napton, and I think Horsepole has benefited from that big drift sideways. There's Roger Body ahead now of Tim and Tristan. Quick as you like, Reeves goes through. Hegarty now will be the next one to close on Roger Body, series organizer. Of course, a very experienced sidecar driver. In years gone by, World Championship contender, had a massive crash in 2008, effectively putting him out of top-line competition. Last lap then. This is it, Reeves and Reeves, Tim and Tristan, Hegarty and Lawson. Are they going to get past Roger Body to maybe redeem themselves a little bit on this last lap? But this is a double victory here at Knockhill, unless misfortune befalls Tim Reeves halfway around the last lap. It's a second consecutive third place. Looking at Ben Holland and Lee Watson, they're going strongly. And that'll be 32 points they've picked up, so they'll be happy too. Not as happy as this man, because it's going to be 150 points from 6 races for Tim and Tristan Reeves, and they missed out at Donington because they were at the TT, so you can't get any better than that, can you? Checkered flag awaits, up the hill they go. Ian Drown just going out of shot on the left. Tim and Tristan a much more healthy margin over Sean and Callum Lawson, but they've done very well. 40 points for them. Third place again for Ben Holland, and look at this. Oh, look at this battle. Oh dear, Barry James coming together with John Clark. He was having a look at Lovelock. Happened so quickly, I'm not even sure what happened there. But Barry James, did John Clark move across? Lovelock benefited from that. 5th place, Andy Peach ahead of him, of course. Let's have a look. John Clark seems to move across, but he was touched and a massive crash. Just look at that. Unbelievable. Passengers so lucky not to be collected. Roger Lovelock nearly picked up one of them. Oh, see what I mean? See what I mean? Flashing across the front. Both, that's Tony Belsey. Both guys, John Clark with the helmet on, both guys on their feet. I think you've got to put that down to a racing incident, but what a dramatic incident it was. Didn't overshadow this man's double delight though. Tim and Tristan Reeves, Sean Hegarty, that's a display in sidecar racing at its finest. 3.5 seconds the gap. Hegarty trailed Reeves. Holland a double podium, he'll be thrilled. Peach, Lovelock, what a ride for Ralph Pride in Lovelock's sidecar. Horsepole, Edwards, drama there as well. Craig Chaplow 2 laps adrift, got some points. John Clark and Tony Belsey head the non-finishers. What can I say? I'm glad you're drinking it, not throwing over me. Tim and Tristan, what a weekend. Couldn't be better.
No, it's perfect, mate, really. Yeah, it all went to plan, didn't it? It was good. We got already 2 real good starts, and yeah, it was good. I don't know what to say, Barry. Really, it seemed everything I seem to do seems to turn to roses at the minute. It seems it's got to get bad some sooner or later, isn't it?
Well, you're a class act. I was talking to James Whittam earlier. He said your preparation's impeccable. You're always totally professional. Reunited with Tristan. It's been good, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been spot on, isn't it? You know, everyone seems to underestimate what he's done. You know, he's been away for 6 or 7 years and he's jumped straight back on at the top. You know, and to do that's not an easy job, and I certainly wouldn't want to do it. And he's not, you know, he's not faltered once. We've had 6 real good race wins, and yeah, good on him. Good job.
Tristan, you enjoy that?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, luckily we had managed to get a bit more of a gap this time, so it was a bit more. I wasn't looking over my shoulder so much, waiting for Sean to come out the inside. But yeah, no, it was good, really good. Yeah.
Do you think to yourself, why did I ever stay away?
Yeah, sometimes, because you do miss it. I always missed it, but I'm back now, so that's what counts.
Good to see you back. You're going well, both of you.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Right, we're going to keep going through, rolling here, because it's a double third. Now, I tell you what, third has never felt so sweet. I bet you. That's 32 points.
Yeah, we're chuffed to nuts with that. We were a little bit fortunate with it. We were stuck in 4th place and being dropped by Andy, but luckily for us, he stuck it in the gravel, and yeah, that gave us a bit of a gap in front of him, and luckily we managed to get a few seconds on him. 'Cause, say 5 laps from the end, our gear shifter snapped and we were stuck in 4th for the rest of the race.
Well, my sums tell me that the gap between you and Andy in the title now is 4 points, so not even a breathing space, but it's a bit more.
Yeah, it's close. I mean, it's still quite early in the season, so plenty more action to come. So it's a good, it's good to have the points on the board.
Well, it's good to see you out. The Finning Cat will be pleased, won't they?
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, we're trying our hardest for him.
Well done, both of you.
Brilliant, thank you.
Okay, well, let's see if I can catch up. I can certainly get Callum. If we can get Callum, we'll go over here. We'll go over to the bike because I think that's the place to be. Sean, what can I say? A fantastic race again, but he had you. When are you going to beat him?
This is the question everyone keeps saying. I don't know. We just keep trying and plugging away. Got to come sooner or later, innit? At the end of the day, the dog will bite the postman in the day, and I am the dog to bite the postman.
I mean, he's very aware of the fact that one slip and you'll be there.
Yeah, definitely. We tried hard that when he had me in that race, fair and square. A few back markers coming to play, but I wasn't close enough just to get advantage from it. So then I got stuck. So hey, fair play. Just no mark today for him. So hey.
There you go. Well, Callum, brilliant. Double second. Nice to be on the podium.
Yeah, it'd be better if we're on that top step, but like you say, we tried our best like we always do, and that's what happened. So maybe next time we'll have him. But I'd like to thank Q8 Oil, Sean Eggety, my dad, and everyone with the team. Because without them, even my uncle Diddy, he does a fantastic job, and without them, wouldn't be as good as we are.
Don't let anyone tell you sidecar racing is not entertaining. That was breathtaking stuff. Reeves then, 150 points, impeccable, flawless performance from Hegarty. Holland, he's not that far away. He's there in 3rd, ahead of Andy Peach, and that's what counts. Mark Edwards, Lee Barrett holding good there 5th. Ricky Stevens in 12th needs some good luck. They definitely need a lucky break. Well, the Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Championship came again to Knockhill, and it did not disappoint. 2 fantastic races. Both of them had their fair share of drama. But, this is a great venue to come to. The crowds are enthusiastic. No matter what the weather, Knockhill always gets busy. So we'll be here, I'm sure, next season. The next race on this calendar is at Snetterton in Norfolk, a good way southeast of here. So please join us when we do that. But from all of us here at Knockhill, thanks for watching and bye-bye.